السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. اللهم احشرنا في زمرته يوم القيامة واسقنا من يده الشريفة شربة هنيئة مليئة لا نظمأ بعدها أبدا يا رب العالمين. We begin in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most gracious, the most merciful. We seek His forgiveness and guidance. We seek refuge in Him from our evil actions and the consequences of our sins and actions. Whomsoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides, no one can misguide, no one can lead astray. And whomsoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses to guide, no one can misguide. And whomsoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses to lead astray, no one can guide. We bear witness that there is no God worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his final messenger, asking him subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to be amongst those who are blessed to enter Jannah with him and to drink from his blessed hands, a drink after which we will not be thirsty ever again. Ameen. Brothers and sisters, do we value our life, our time? Do we value that the time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given each and every single one of us? Oftentimes we think that that time is plenty, even though of course we don't know how much time that we have. But even if we knew, let's say on average you think you have 60, 70, 80 years to live. The reality is, even if you live up to 79, 80 years old, you don't actually have that time. And what I mean is, for someone who lives, let's say 80 years, a third of that time for someone who sleeps 7-8 hours a night is gone. So from 80 years, you've already lost a third of that time in sleep alone. If you add to that the time that you will work, on an average, a person will work 13 years. For a person who lives 80 years, he or she will work 13 years of their lives. Add on top of that the time you spend eating and drinking and relieving yourselves, that's another about 4.5, 5 years. That's just the basics, not talking about anything else, that's just to live. So all of a sudden, those 80 years that seem like a lot are actually not so much. And brothers and sisters, this is the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us how precious our time is. And in fact, He swears in the Quran by time in several occasions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by time, wal-layl, wal-fajr, wal-nahar, wal-subh. He swears by the time. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he reminds us and he tells us, نعمتان مغبون فيهما كثير من الناس الصحة والفراغ. That two blessings that many people don't take advantage of, many people are not even aware of. They take for granted their health and their free time. And the word that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam uses, maqboon, it means that you're selling something precious for cheap. It means that you have something precious that you don't know, either you don't know is precious or that you don't care about. Time, brothers and sisters, is part of us. Time literally makes us up, makes our essence. This is why Al-Hasan al-Basri, he says, يا ابن آدم إنما أنت أيام إذا ذهب يومك ذهب بعضك. He said, "O son of Adam, your existence, your essence is made up of, consists of several days, a number of days. When every day passes by, you lose one part of you. You lose one part of your essence." Brothers and sisters, when we waste our time, part of us is gone. And you know, we have this illusion sometimes, we have this idea or this cultural belief sometimes that, you know, we have spare time, that there's time that we have that's either free time or we have time to kill, right? We have time to waste. But the reality is, brothers and sisters, we do not. Because every single moment, every single day, every single minute, we will be asked how we spent that time. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tells us, لا تزول قدم عبد يوم القيامة حتى يسأل عن عمره فيما أفناه. That the feet of son of Adam will not move on the day of judgment until he or she is asked about his life. What did he do? How he spent his time? How he spent his days? The days that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him or gave her. The days that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you. What did you do with those days? What did you do with that time? Time, brothers and sisters, has three very unique characteristics. Three very unique characteristics. The first is that time is the most precious asset that ever exists. Time is the most precious asset, the most precious thing that you can have is time, is your time. Because you see, no matter what you do, no matter what you try, you cannot give anyone your time. You cannot donate one of your days to someone else, one of your years to someone else, even if it's the most beloved person to you, your parents, your spouse, your kids. You can't give them an extra day. You cannot take a day from them. I cannot give you one of my days. You can't give me one of your days or one of your years. It's the most precious asset that exists. Number two is time flies, brothers and sisters. Time flies. How many of us feel that the time flies? That it was as if yesterday that so and so happened. It was as if yesterday that I was just young and as a student, and now I'm old and I'm working and I'm married. It was yesterday as if my kids were just young and now they're old and they have families of their own. How many of us feel that it was just yesterday as if it was Ramadan and tomorrow comes and it's wow, it's already next Ramadan. Time flies, brothers and sisters. Characteristic number two. And number three, brothers and sisters, is that time never, ever comes back until the day of judgment. No matter how hard we try, no matter how advanced technology is, no matter how smart we are, no matter how good AI is, no matter how many fantasy films about time travel we have, the reality is we can't bring back yesterday. We can't bring back this morning. We cannot bring forth tomorrow if tomorrow exists. Time, once it passes, brothers and sisters, does not come back. And Hassan al-Basri, again, he says, ما من يوم إلا ويقول يا ابن آدم أنا يوم جديد وعلى عملك شهيد فاغتنمني فإني لا أعود إلا ليوم القيامة. Hassan al-Basri says that every day comes forth and tells you, O son of Adam, I am a new day. I am a new day, and I am a witness to what you will do or not do today. So take advantage of me. I will not come back, because I won't not come back until the day of judgment. Every day, brothers and sisters, is a chance for us to increase ourselves, increase our deeds, increase our knowledge, increase the value that we give, increase our output. Or it's a chance for us to just waste our time. How much time, brothers and sisters, do we waste every single day? How much time do we waste on our phones? How much time do we waste on social media? You know, a study a few years ago found that on average, every person, spends between 2.5 to 3 hours only on social media every single day. Wasted time, complete waste, 3 hours every day, just scrolling and watching pointless videos and reels and comments and likes and this and that. And we find ourselves going and picking up our phones just to kill time and pass time, scrolling between WhatsApp groups and messages and things that will add no benefit for us, not in this dunya or the akhirah. How much time do we waste, brothers and sisters? The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, whose birth is this month, and we've heard about his life, alayhi salatu wassalam, in 23 years, 23 short years, he established all of Islam. From its roots, the pillars of Islam, the pillars of Iman, the rules of inheritance, the rules of marriage, the rules of divorce, the rules of wars, everything. In 23 years, how many of us have witnessed 23 years and can say they've done something meaningful in their time? 23 years, brothers and sisters. The brothers and sisters, our problem is that we like to put things off. We like to procrastinate. We like to say, you know what, we're young, we're going to do so and so next Ramadan. We're going to start praying when I'm a bit older. Or even if you pray, you say, no, Salah came in, I'll pray later, so it's fine, let me just finish so and so. We like to put things off. Ibn Umar, he says, إذا أصبحت فلا تنتظر المساء وإذا أمسيت فلا تنتظر الصباح. He says, if you wake up in the morning, do not wait till the evening Do what you need to do. Take advantage of the morning. And if you reach the evening, Umar tells us, reminds us, if you reach the evening, don't wait until the next day. Take advantage. Do it now. Take advantage of your time. Brothers and sisters, Imam Nawawi, rahimahullah, died when he was young, 40 years old, and yet look at the amount of knowledge he left behind. The 40 hadith of Imam Nawawi that we all know and heard of, Riyadh al-Salihin, book that's been translated into many languages. When he never got married. When he was asked, oh, ma'am, why didn't you get married? He said, why didn't anyone remind me? It's as if he was concerned about taking advantage of every moment that it was not even on his mind. Now, brothers and sisters, the point here is not to say, to go to an extreme, delete all pointless apps or social media or have no time for relaxation and spend all time in ibadah. No, that's not the point. Our deen is a deen of moderation. The point, brothers and sisters, is to do so in moderation. Take advantage of your time. Value your time. Look at your time as a bank of days. With every passing day, that bank account of days only goes down, never goes back up, no matter how hard you try. So taking advantage of every day, every single moment. I'll conclude, brothers and sisters, with an ayah that we all memorize and heard before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Say, O Muhammad, that indeed my prayer, that my sacrifice, my life, my hereafter, my death is all for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Brothers and sisters, are our lives is our time all spent for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is it spent for Him? Is our death, if we were to die now, in our moment, in this moment, will we be confident that it is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Brothers and sisters, أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. What is our duty, brothers and sisters, to our time? 3 very straightforward duties to our time. Number 1 is holding ourselves accountable to how we spend our time. Holding ourselves accountable onto how we spend our time. Knowing that in the hereafter we will be asked about how we spent our days. So holding ourselves accountable now before we are held accountable in the hereafter. Ibn Mas'ud, he says that my greatest regret isn't some money I lost or some mistake I made or some friend I lost or whatnot. No, my greatest regret, he says, is a day that passes by where my good deeds do not increase. He's conscious, he's aware of how he's spending his days. And brothers and sisters, nowadays doing so is easier than ever. The amount of organizers and apps we have, every phone now has an app that tells you how much time you spent on your phone. Well, how many times you picked up your phone? How many times you spent on every single app? Holding yourself accountable, at least for phone time, is very easy. I guarantee you, if you after Salah you go and you pick up your phone and you check how much time you spent on your phone this past week on apps, you will be surprised. Holding yourself accountable every day or every week, see what you're spending your time on and managing that. Number 2, brothers and sisters, is organizing your time. Organizing your time, many ways to do this, but the reality is we sometimes live our days and our times haphazardly. We don't plan our time with our families, our time with ourselves, our time to give back to our bodies and relax, our time for work. Sometimes we do things haphazardly. We don't spend enough time with our children, with our spouses. And then years later we realize, I wish I spent time with my kids when they were young. I wish I spent time with my family. I wish I spent time taking care of my body, taking care of my health. organizing your time in all aspects. Number 3, brothers and sisters, is taking advantage of your time, organizing and taking advantage of your time. Prophet Muhammad tells us to take advantage, alayhi salatu wasalam, of 5 before 5. Take advantage of 5 before 5. Take advantage of your life before your death. Take advantage of your wealth before you become poor. Take advantage of your youth before you get old. Take advantage of your free time before you get busy. Take advantage of your health before you get sick. All of these, brothers and sisters, revolve around taking advantage of your time. Brothers and sisters, we don't want to be amongst those who come and say, Rabb irji'un, oh Allah, return me back so I can do more. We don't want to be amongst those who say on the day of judgment, Ya laytani qaddamtu li hayati. I wish I did more. I wish I contributed more to my life, meaning my life in the hereafter. We don't want to be amongst those who say, Oh Allah, send me back. Brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most generous. He gives us opportunities for hasanat that don't involve hours and hours of worship. All it takes is seconds or minutes to stack up those deeds, brothers and sisters. 100 times saying subhanallah, and you get 1,000 hasanat. How much time does that take? 2 minutes, a minute and a half, a minute? Praying salat al-janazah. 2 minutes, 1 minute, and you get a mountain of hasanat. The mountain size of Uhud of hasanat. Going and visiting the sick, and you get 70,000 angels, brothers and sisters, that make dua for you. 10 times reading Surah Al-Ikhlas, and you get a mansion in Jannah. Many opportunities for getting hasanat. And yet sometimes we act that, Jannah is in our back pocket. We're good. We've done enough. Even though the Sahaba were promised Jannah, why the Prophet Muhammad, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala were promised Jannah, they acted as if they were the worst off. Umar ibn Khattab once, he said that if a caller was to come down from the sky and said that everyone on earth, every single person on earth would enter Jannah except one person, he said, I'd fear that person would be me. And this is Umar ibn Khattab, not you or I. So brothers and sisters, taking advantage of our time, brothers and sisters, is something that is not only, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not only remind us about the essence of our religion, because the Prophet Muhammad reminds us of so, and I will conclude by one hadith where the Prophet Muhammad reminds us of the importance of our time. One day the Prophet was walking and he passed by the grave of someone. He asked, whose grave is this? Man sahib hada al-qabr? Who's buried here? So they tell him so and so. So the Prophet Muhammad tells them, رَكْعَتَانِ أَحَبُّ إِلَى هَذَا مِنْ بَقِيَّةِ دُنْيَاكُمْ. They said that if this person were given the option to either come back and get everything in this world, all the riches he can think of, all the treasures, all the resources, all the houses, everything, anything he can think of in this world, he gets to get as option 1, or option 2, he gets to just make 2 rak'ah, pray 2 rak'ah, without hesitation, without a doubt, this person will choose to make 2 rak'ah, will choose to pray 2 rak'ah. Brothers and sisters, we still have that chance, we still have that opportunity. We're not asking for days and days of worship and putting our heads down in obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and reading the Quran, although that's great. All we're saying, brothers and sisters, there is no sense in wasting 3 hours every day on social media or more. There's no sense in wasting, killing time. Take advantage of your time by 1, holding yourself accountable, 2, organizing your time, and 3, taking advantage of it. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to be amongst those who take advantage of their times to benefit from times and benefit others. Before we conclude, brothers and sisters, several quick announcements, inshallah. Number one, the Masjid is reminding our brothers to donate generously. We have an electricity bill due in a couple of weeks. We have to pay $1,600, $1,670 for the Con Ed, so please donate generously. If you'd like to donate it directly, you can reach out to the Masjid, inshallah. Number two, there are two sisters asking for dua. They are very sick. Inshallah, we will make dua for them afterwards. Number three, registration is still open for the weekend school. Please, scan the QR code in the back to register. Number four, many youth programs are happening today, inshallah, today and tomorrow, so please join. And number five, we have, inshallah, a Jum'ah prayer for kids after school at 3 o'clock, not here in Masjid Dawah. So if you have kids, they can join, inshallah, that salah. And inshallah, we'll make dua for the sisters that are asking for dua. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا ثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة. اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة ونعوذ بك من سخطك والنار. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في فلسطين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في فلسطين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في غزة يا رب العالمين. اللهم كن معهم عونا ومعينا ومؤيدا وظهيرا. اللهم انصرهم على عدوهم يا قوي يا متين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين. اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين. اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين. وارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين يا رب العالمين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم make dua for the sisters that are sick. اللهم اشفيهما شفاء لا يغادر سقما. اللهم اشفيهما شفاء لا يغادر سقما. اللهم رب الناس اذهب البأس اشفي انت الشافي لا شفاء الا شفاء شفاء لا يغادر سقما يا رب العالمين. اللهم اشفيهم بشفائك وداوهم بدوائك. اللهم اشف جميع مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين. امين امين.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. في أماكن ورا يا جماعة ولا في حد مزنوق؟ في أماكن ورا موجودة؟ طيب.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. سمع الله لمن حمده.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. سمع الله لمن حمده.
الله أكبر.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.